This is the conservation lab. We've been working on a lot of stuff this winter. I've been doing a lot of small finds, mostly made of copper alloy. This is particularly timely. This week I'm working on a very small piece of a Jesuit ring. And it's one of a few categories of ring. It's called an L heart ring. There is an L and a heart next to it. Initially, these rings started out as little tokens that were given to Jesuit students who completed their lessons for the week, for example. But then later they became more popular, and eventually people think that they were used just as trade items in America. They're found at a lot of French sites, and it's sort of interesting that we found it here. It was found in 2005 in layer of plow zone, which means it can't be very precisely located in terms of having a context, but it's Jamestown in itself is the context, so there's a lot to be said for these small things wherever they're found on the island. What I do with most copper and copper alloy artifacts in order to conserve them is I start out underneath the microscope. So, for example, I'll show you with a few buttons that haven't been cleaned yet. I start with something that's covered in corrosion, barely recognizable as an object sometimes, and I work on it underneath the microscope, generally scraping with scalpels and with wooden tools, and also using brushes to get all the corrosion off. We leave the very last layer of corrosion usually is a protective layer rather than going right down to the bare metal, which causes more corrosion to occur as the object is exposed to the environment. Once that's finished, we give it a bath in acetone to get any of my finger grease off or any other impurities, and then we soak it in something called BTA, which complexes with the copper and gives it a protective coating against moisture and oxygen, which cause corrosion. The final coat that we give it is a substance called acryloid or paraloid B72. It's basically a polymer or plastic, if you will, that hardens onto the object and again keeps moisture and oxygen from really getting at the metal, slows down the process of corrosion over the years and keeps it in good shape so that it can go on display. So this piece is finished now. It's very small, but its meaning is very large, and it's ready to go wherever it needs to go from the lab.